Called to the bar in 1956, Claude Pensa is the very definition of a remarkable professional, leader, and community supporter. His professional history includes many milestones, such as the formation of laudable law firms Giffen Pensa in 1962, Pensa and Associates in 1985, and Harrison Pensa in 1999. Today, Harrison Pensa is one of southwestern Ontario's foremost full-service law firms, serving clients across Canada and around the world. In recognition of his outstanding professional service as a highly respected mediator and arbitrator, including appearing before the Supreme Court of Canada, Claude was honored by the Law Society of Upper Canada with the Law Society Medal in 2007.
There'd be lots of adjectives to describe Claude. If I was restricted to one, and I think it would be the one most people would use, it would be integrity.
Claude's most valuable attribute was what I'd call a considerate intellect, or a considerate intellect. He was, of course, extremely smart. He's extremely ethical, but for me, he was also a considerate guy.
I think anybody that talks about Claude would, talk about his integrity. It doesn't matter where you go in this province. If you talk about Claude, somebody has something good to say about him.
Over his long career, Claude valued the importance of mentoring and was a committed mentor and advisor to the legal community as both a counsel to the firm and dean of the London and Middlesex Bar.
Claude understood that if you had a mentor that took the time and took you on things and allowed you to learn, that you would grow. And that takes a lot of time. And as you become a senior lawyer and you don't have much time, the test is, that's your value, but do you walk the talk? Do you actually still do it? He always did.
For me, Claude was the guy that you would go to when you needed maybe legal advice, but more often just help and wisdom and guidance.
So I was reviewing the file, a large, complicated piece of litigation, and at one point during the correspondence, as I went back through it, the client had indicated that they thought they might do something that Claude didn't think was appropriate in terms of how they were going to deal with the client. And I was struck by the fact that Claude basically in a letter told his biggest client that if they wanted to do that, they could, but they wouldn't do it with him as their counsel of record. And again, that's just not the kind of thing you see or hear of very much in our game. And it was quite an impressive thing for a young lawyer to be reading. So it really made a mark on me that you have to stand by your principles.
Claude's commitment to protecting human rights and helping the community's most vulnerable has built a rich and complex legacy, including a long-standing commitment to social justice. This commitment was honored by the Claude and Elaine Pensa Lecture Series in Human Rights at Western Law.
Claude was not only active in the community with respect to human rights, as well as many other things, but also that he was well known at the national and, depending on the area, at the international level as well.
His attachment to rights is probably the centerpiece of his legal life in terms of what he would think was important, and that's why, in large part, we sponsored the series. We're trying to think of some way to honor both he and Elaine, and we chose that series on human rights because of that involvement.
The one character trait that really struck me when I got to know Claude was how humble he is. So this lecture series that was created as a partnership between Harrison Pensa and Western Law was meant to honor Claude by inviting high-profile people to come to Western to speak about human rights issues. And each time when we were having individuals such as Michael Ignatieff or Senator Romeo Dallaire, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Canada, and individuals like Justice Richard Goldstone, who was one of the first chief prosecutors at the International Criminal Tribunals for the former Yugoslavia and Rwanda. These are very high-profile people who accepted because of who Claude is and what he represented.
Claude has been committed to serving the London community his entire life, serving in a variety of volunteer leadership roles, from acting as the chair of the Board of Governors of Western University and serving on many boards, to fundraising for organizations like the Grand Theatre, the Boys and Girls Club of London, and the United Way of London and Middlesex. Claude's initiative has brought immense impact for so many Londoners.
He understood the business aspects of law, and he taught that to others, and he saw the law firm grow. But he also understood that because he viewed law as a high calling, an avocation, that although it was a business, and it was a growing part of the business landscape of London, that there was a duty to the public and a duty to our clients and to the community. So Claude was always involved, chair of the Board of Governors, many, many other things.
I met people through the Pensa lecture who knew Claude in so many different ways, not only because of his legal practice and not only because of his law firm, but because of his work in different organizations in the community, and not just in the London community, but then in Ontario as well.
Claude's selfless generosity, loyalty, and commitment to his firm, partners, and our community is widely recognized, and why we celebrate Claude as an excellent role model for our future leaders.
I think that young people and junior achievers could learn from Claude the importance of not only choosing the career you're going to do and doing it very well, but understanding that you are one part of a greater whole. That if you are, for example, a very successful business person in London, then it's very important to you to support the very community that's supporting you.
Listen, for me, Claude is just a terrific example of what a young person, whether in law or in business, should or could aspire to become. He's smart, he's terrifically ethical, he's been very involved in the community, and that's why he's so deserved.
Because of his vision, citizenship, mentorship, business achievements, and community support, Claude Pensa is so deserving of this induction into the Junior Achievement London and District Business Hall of Fame.